Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is a speaker and author of several books on relationships. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to my spot. Be careful of making assumptions. I thought about that. This is something I've experienced personally. Cause y'all see me. Sometimes I be having my head shaved and everything looking nice, and sometimes I just be letting my stuff just grow out. Or whatever the case, and that's been me all my life. Just because I'm used to like moving in different circles. So it's just like, and it depends on what's going on with me at the time. But regardless of the case, I've had several times where people made an assumption about me just based on the image. And I'm like, sometimes, ladies, that can be good, but sometimes that could be bad. This is why I say it can be good sometimes because, unfortunately, you got to make a quick determination, especially if you're in a bad area for whatever reason. The guys whose place you coming from with the air mattress or something, his neighbors might not be as friendly, so you might have to make a quick assumption. But at the same time, it's bad because sometimes it's not obvious what someone has, and I've seen this a lot. I've seen this a lot. There's a lot of guys who a lot of women say they want that guy who's hardworking, who has some sense, who's doing stuff. But sometimes that guy, unless he's physically attractive to you, you might just overlook him if he's not looking all fly. And a lot of women do that. They make an assumption. They don't know when they saw him, what's the context they seen him in. Like if somebody sees me walking through a store real early in the morning and I'm looking all sweaty, they might not necessarily assume that I'm just coming from the gym. And I've actually had that. I remember one woman... I'm on a college campus. This is my favorite. She said she assumed I was a drug dealer. And I'm like, I say, why you assume I was a drug dealer? You were wearing sweats. And I'm thinking to myself, I was probably wearing ordinary sweats. Not even stylish sweats, just ordinary sweats because, I went to school there and I was probably coming from the gym. And it's like... You made that assumption. I mean, we got to be cool, but, what if I was somebody else and we didn't get to be cool, but you lost out on a good man? See, ladies, here's the problem. I know in general, y'all make a determination in the first few seconds whether or not that man, let's be real. Hey, after my Friday video, we just going to be real, that he can get it. But what if one of the other things I've seen, many women have told me this. A lot of times they might meet somebody and not think much of them, but because they're in a position to get to know them, they find out this is the great guy. Now, sometimes, if you just see that guy on the street, if you just see him crossing, you ain't going to just walk over and say, well, you look like a bum, but I think you'd be a nice guy or a good guy for me. Nah, that don't make sense right there. But... sometimes if a guy approach you and he might not be fly at that moment or whatever, sometimes as long as he does it politely, give him that shot. Give him that shot. At least see what he's talking about. He might surprise you. Like I remember something it was in a novel I read a while ago, years ago, back in the 90s. And you had a main character. One of the main characters was this dude who was he owned a construction company, but he met this woman. She didn't think much about him at first because, he had just been knocking out some walls in a house. But, of course, this is a novel. They got to know each other. But then there's a lot of times people might make that assumption. And they'll say, well, he ain't wearing this or he ain't wearing that. Now, here's the problem. Here's the issue with that. Sometimes women get so much into what the guy's wearing. It's good game for a man if he's styling all the time. Everything is fly, but it don't tell you about his character. Now it's great game for a man. Shoot, I tell men it's if you're looking for a woman, be fly all the time. If you're looking for a woman, if you're not, don't worry about it. But if you're looking for a woman, yeah, be fly all the time and everything. But Sometimes women get so caught up into that, like he's fly, he got that swag. You're not getting to know, you don't find anything about the character. And what happens is with some players, they don't have much going on, but they have a wardrobe budget. So they looking all fine and fly and everything. Whereas the guy who might be good for you, he might physically look attractive, but maybe his style is off a bit. But you don't know what he's doing. He could be helping his grandmother move or something that day, or doing some work there. Doing some work around her house. Or he could be doing anything. But, you just don't have that look at first. Because, you can't be fly all the time. Some dudes try, but, it costs some money. So be careful of making those things. Don't assume anything until it's presented to you. Or here's another one. This happens a lot in the black community. I'm not sure to the extent it happens in other communities. I'm really not sure. But in a black community, a lot of times a sister might meet some dude and assume the worst instead of assuming the best until he proves otherwise. That's a very important key. Like, you assume, he don't have anything going on. He don't have a job. He don't have a business. He don't have this or that. And I'm like, you making that assumption before you met. And you really don't have anything to base it on. It's like, you can't assume, you can't go by what like the media says. You don't know what about this particular person. So unless they tell you, no, I don't have a job, no, I don't have a car, no, I don't have my own place, you don't know, because that same person might be like, it could be just some casual thing. He had to run to the store or something real quick to get something, but he going back to his like 10-room mini mansion or something. Or he's about to go to the gym. He about to go work out. Or it could be somebody with some kids. He about to go run in the park with them or something. But you're assuming the worst, and that's a problem. I need to actually do a separate video on that, particularly with in the black community, because it's like that brother you're making assumptions that this brother ain't anything until he proves himself. But then when that same brother goes in some other cultures or something, they assume he got something going on until he proves otherwise. See how that works? But be careful of that, because I've seen a lot of women. There's been a lot of women who've talked to me and said, you know what, they ain't really take time to find out about some dude, and then find out later that dude had everything going on. It's that saying, they go for the flashy guy who got his surface game going right then, and get with, but find out some scuzzy stuff later. But then that guy who they didn't give any attention to, that guy who actually looked kind of good to him just physically, but maybe he wasn't fly enough, or he didn't say like something, or you looking at him making an assumption about him. And see, that makes it hard, because then if most men, if they got self-respect, if they feel like they got to prove something to you, they're going to be like, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. The juice is really not worth the squeeze. So they just going to roll on. They're going to be like, shoot. Now, what I would say is this in general. Okay, say a guy approaches you. Because even though there's a debate on the men's side about cold approach, letting a woman choose or give choosing signals, most guys going to approach you. As long as that guy is respectful, as long as he's respectful, and as long as something about him just doesn't like give you the heebie-jeebies, like pay attention to your intuition. As long as he's respectful, you can entertain it. You might be surprised. And I've met a lot of women. They met some guy and they were just pleasantly surprised. Don't make any assumptions. Assume he has good sense and got something going on until you find out otherwise. But if you go into it making assumptions about who he is, what he's about, that's actually hurting you. Because like I said, after a while, some dude might be like, I don't feel like dealing with this. The juice is not worth the squeeze. And he moved on to some woman smart enough to like just, go with the flow, figure out about him, find out about him and everything. So be careful of that. Be careful of that. Don't paint somebody you don't know in a certain way until you find out. All right? Don't paint it. Don't make an assumption. And it's something and I need to do a video on this for the men. Too many men are making an assumption about a woman they haven't met yet. Every single person, you got to treat them as an individual. So anyway, that's all I got for y'all ladies. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.